Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Pospichal. My paper was on labor management collaborations and Winona State unions. The end goal of my research paper was to understand any restrictions that may prohibit collaboration, understand the areas of concern from each party in the equation, and to offer suggestions and further research topics to improve labor management collaboration efforts within higher education institutions. So, the areas that I did in my literature review, the first area I did was research the history of labor unions. I found out that there was lots of legislation that made an impact on how labor unions function today, starting with the National Labor Relations Act, which provided the right to organize and bargain with the employer. There's more recently, you guys have probably heard of right to work laws. These actually started many, many years ago and have become more familiar. What they do is they eliminate the fair share fee collection from people that don't want to be part of unions, even though the bargaining unit is unionized. And then we are unique here in Minnesota. Some other states do have legislation for the statewide that offers union protection. Our law is called the PELRA Law, Public Employees Labor Relation Act. So the next thing we did, I looked at the current labor management trends. They can range anywhere from small campus-based or agency-based meetings, one-on-one. You can have anything from university committees or agency committees where you volunteer to official labor management agreements, which can be regular meetings, or it can be agency agreements to try and determine large projects. So one that I found, for instance, was Baltimore schools who were hurting financially, and the teachers came together with management, said, what can we do that would best help our students? They found agreements. They started with lack of trust. They started with financial issues. Now, with their agreement, they went in and they eliminated some of the financial problems. They have very low turnover rate, higher retention, better grades. So it worked out for everybody. The other one that I found was New York and Minnesota were kind of unique in their mentally disabled homes. So they were currently before in larger agencies and hospitals, and what they decided was that group homes were better. So, for instance, in Minnesota, the union and the state brought in agency heads, worked together, and decided what's best for the clients, what's best for the employees, what works for the states. And today we have a successful home program where people are all around the state. The employees are happy. We have lower turnover rates. So that was a successful major collaboration. And we found out that there was actually money saved by more invested employees due to higher satisfaction because they feel invested in the institution for which they work at. So then my research led me to Winona State, who currently has 6 bargaining units. AFSCME represents the clerical and the maintenance side of things. You have MAPE, who does a lot of the IT stuff. You have IFO, who's the teaching faculty. You have the Nurses Association. You have middle management. And ASF does a lot of non-teaching faculty work. There are a lot of our department leaders, our department heads, as well as admissions counselors and financial aid counselors. So to get a better understanding how Winona State works, I interviewed a member of the HR team, a member of the labor team who was the vice president of the current AFSCME bargaining unit, and I interviewed the current affirmative action officer who is a member of the university cabinet and comes and bargains with the bargaining units on behalf of the university during labor management meetings. For HR function, the one thing that was consistent in the communication was that there needed to be better training And she said there's a class culture here where some of the classes, higher bargaining units, or leadership, kind of looks down upon some of the lower bargaining units. The labor side of things, there was a issue with training, and she also discussed the class culture. The cabinet, consistent, there was a training issue. She said the big challenge that they find is that there's different attitudes that come to the table. She feels that coming in with a certain attitude will determine if you're going to be successful or not, and that she feels that our labor management agreements are unique to Winona State University, that we meet monthly with all the bargaining units and the university cabinet. So my unique conclusion that I came up with, that we currently have laws that create an environment that makes all this possible. Every player in there said that communication is key. Collaboration leads to more invested employees that want to work harder for the students in the institution. So we have higher retention, they work harder, so it's greater success overall. And the other key thing was that all players must be committed to success. You must come in expecting to get a resolution rather than arguing and kind of digging your heels into the ground. You have to be willing to come to an agreement. Sometimes you may not totally agree with it, may not be totally happy, but overall it's good for the university. And there needs to be increased education and training for future buy-in. Areas of future research that I was determining was that I would like to research further on union and non-union to see if there's an impact on employee satisfaction, employee productivity, and employee retention by doing collaborations where people feel more engaged and involved in their institution. And I would like to see further research to see if there is more of a class issue on campuses of all higher ed, or if that is unique to Winona State. So thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good night. Thank you.